It's been 16 years since Mammal released an album, and after all this time, the band have released their long-awaited record. Question remains, is it any good? Hi people and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew, it is Chili, the man who produces Iron in His Eyes, and this is my 5-minute review on Mammal's newest album, The Penny Drops. If people ask me, have you ever seen an opening act that outperformed the band you initially wanted to see, then Mammal is the band I always point to. I will never forget the first time I saw Mammal. It was down at my local RSL and they were opening for the Butterfly Effect on their Imago tour, and needless to say, they outperformed them on that night. Sorry Clint, but Ezekiel, if you are watching, and I hope you are, your presence on stage of a bare-chested, skinny-looking lunatic with a tie as a belt was enigmatic and engrossing. Straight after the gig, I bought their CD, Volume 1, The Oral Underground, from Ezekiel himself, and I wasn't the only one who was impressed because there were a fair few people who wanted their tunes. Fast forward a few years and the band had split up, becoming another act to fall wayside of the rock and roll road. That was up until a few years ago when the band members surprised their fans with a Facebook post that showed them catching up and having a few beers together. The community went crazy and hope had been restored. Was this the beginning of a new chapter? The answer was yes. The opener track Moscow is one hell of a way to kickstart the stage of Mammal version 2.0. It's a stroke of genius by the band in the way that it's clearly going to be used as an opening song during the tour, but the lyrics can be reworked to include the current city or country in its place and get the crowd participation on board. Whether this was intended or not, the fact remains that this piece just contains commanding drum work by Zane Rosansky, and his skill set is on full display here. One of the biggest issues I was weary of leading up to the record was one of the cautionary tales regarding the band's recording methods in the past. You see, Mammal's albums Volume 1 and 2 are live recordings of the band and perfectly encapsulate their power on stage that they are renowned for. When it came time for the group to record an actual studio recording, that's when things started to fall apart, and they failed to capture that intensity found in a live setting as it could not be replicated in the studio. It's a similar story with another band, MC5, but would this issue be prevalent on this long-awaited and latest effort? Well, for starters, there is something a little bit different within the band when it came to this record. And by the time we reached the song Doubt, a track that is slightly slower than what we have heard thus far, but is one of the more curious pieces on offer with some intrinsically beautiful bass lines by new member Cade, showing that his ascension to the role has been quick to adapt and overcome adversity. Hell, even the song Bottom End seems to have been written with Cade's skills in mind, and while the additional rapping and vocals of Fresh Violet is a bit odd in my mind, it's not unwarranted or out of place on here. The music on offer here is, for most of the part, hard-hitting groove Latin and infectious with rich riffs. The lyrics are whimsical and at times rich in poignant satire delivered with enough angst that shows the mighty Ox has not lost his Midas touch. Whatever fears I had of the band not being able to recapture the power and passion from live performances were immediately swept away once this record started playing, and it's plain obvious to me that this is one of the best works I've heard from the Australian music scene in quite some time. If you haven't seen the episode for our top 20 songs of 2023, then spoiler alert, but Mammal makes an appearance on that list too for their song Keanu Reeves, and it left a massive impression on me knowing that Mammal were going to land this in a perfect dismount. Overall, I would give this album a score of 9 million chilies on the spicy scale, with my favourite tracks being Penny Drops, Keanu Reeves, and Doubt. Mammal have certainly had an interesting time on the music scene, and I'm sure that they have a very interesting story to tell. If Ezekiel is watching this, please reach out to me because I would love to have you on my show. After all, the story of the band's frontman is one that is really worth telling and in detail. From singer to lawyer to even frontman of another Aussie metal group Super Heist, and now returning to the Mammal spotlight like some kind of balance has been restored in the galaxy. Do yourself a favour, if you haven't seen Mammal live, then go and see them at my behest. You won't be let down by the shows they offer. They are the last bastion of a live act that you need to see. They are a band that do stuff like AC/DC used to back in their early days and that you read about in biographies that make you smirk. Hopefully I will have the chance to see them soon and in support of this album. If that's the case, I will definitely be buying a t-shirt that hopefully Ezekiel will wipe his sweaty brow with, as he undoubtedly uses my face as a footrest so he can crowd surf. Can I get a hell yeah? If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.